Yo, what is going on, you guys? It's your boy King Sanders here. We are back with another day of sports betting. This is going to be for Sunday, December 11th slate of NBA action, man. I'm super excited to dive into it. We don't have a huge slate on, but we do still have some pretty good matchups here nonetheless that I am going to try to target. We'll go ahead and talk about some of those here in just a minute, but before we go ahead and dive into it, I did just want to go ahead and say that we are still currently on the road to 10,000 subscribers, so we are a little bit less than 700 away. So if you guys are new, make sure that you guys are subbed. We're going to try to hit that by New Year's. And if we do end up doing so, then we will be doing a pretty big giveaway. So make sure that you guys are subbed if you guys are new. And next, I did just want to go ahead and give a quick shout out here to all of our members here on the channel. Thank you guys so much for everything that you guys do. And thank you guys so much for giving such a small channel such a big chance, as I always say. It truly does mean the absolute world to me. So much more than you guys will ever know. So, without any further ado, I'm going to go ahead and dive into it. I did just want to go ahead and say we will be having a new segment here on the channel. The new segment is going to be Special Guest Sundays. These Special Guest Sundays are going to be with my consensus plays, and they're going to be with the people that I do the consensus plays with. So they are with some of the people that that participate in the consensus plays. They're going to be in these videos here in the segments at the end. So basically what it's going to be is, rather than me just telling you, hey, Seth picked this or Brady picked this or, whatever the case might be, then it's actually going to be them telling you why they like to pick, and then also me explaining why I like to pick as well. So it's going to be fun. It's just a nice little change of scenery rather than you guys just seeing me every single day. It'll be nice to be able to get somebody else on here. So I am super excited about that. Hopefully it does end up turning out pretty well. But now, without any further ado, let's go ahead and dive into a quick recap as of yesterday. Definitely not our best day. We ended up going 1-2 on our plays, and we'll talk about it. So we did end up having Bam Adebayo over 9.5 rebounds versus the Spurs at minus 125 odds. This one was looking really, really good. He ends up getting 7 rebounds through 3 quarters, and then ends up only getting 2 in the fourth, so finishes right at 9. He had all the opportunities in the world. He just wasn't really able to convert on these, and the Spurs even ended up winning outright. So, like I said, I wasn't worried about the blowout whatsoever. I really just thought he was going to be able to get it. Finishes right on the hook. Pretty bad beat. I know he went under in points too. So anybody that had his overs today, I'm sorry about that. I really thought that he'd be able to get 10 rebounds for us. But, it is what it is. Finishes just shy of it. Then we did have Anthony Simons over 22.5 points versus Minnesota at minus 115. This one then ends up hitting pretty easy. There was no real sweat about this one whatsoever. Anthony Simons gets things going, scores 22 points in the first half, and easily hits it, going into, I think it was like the fourth quarter maybe. But regardless, he ends up hitting it pretty easy. Then we had our added play. We had Kyle Kuzma, under 23.5 points versus the Clippers at minus 115. I got to be honest, this bet, I know that it wasn't even close. Kyle Kuzma absolutely destroyed this line. He had 25 points in the first half, so he destroyed this line. There's no doubt about that. But I will say that the stats were there. I mean, he was going up against the Clippers. Obviously, the Clippers, they had Kawhi back. They had Paul George back. They should have played defense. They obviously are a pretty decent defensive team without them, and somehow they got worse by adding those 2 players in, and they let Kyle Kuzma drop 35. So, it is what it is. That was definitely a loss for sure. But, whatever. But without any further ado, we're going to go ahead and dive into our 2 plays that I do really like, and then we do have our consensus play or our, special guest Sunday clip there at the end. So, without any further ado, let's go ahead and dive into the first play, our King's Kill Shot play of the day. We're going to be taking the Phoenix Suns, +3 here versus the Pelicans at minus 110 odds. Normally, the kill shot plays are normally for player props, but we really just don't have a whole lot of lines up, and I really like this play quite a bit. And the reason being is just because the Pelicans, they did end up just beating the Suns last game. This is going to be a tremendous bounce back spot, and we all know that the Phoenix Suns are great about bouncing back. Phoenix this year has lost a total of 9 games, and they have covered in 7 of them after a loss, which is the best percentage after a loss in the entire NBA. They're very, very good in that bounce back spot, and I don't think anything's going to change today. And Phoenix does have the history in this one. Phoenix has covered or won in 9 of their last 13 matchups here versus the Pelicans. So I do think that it's a pretty good spot here. And I think that this Suns team and this Pelicans team actually match up pretty well. And with Brandon Ingram still struggling with that injury and Herb Jones still dealing with that injury, I just think that this is a good spot with a Pelicans team that has played well, but a Phoenix team that is not one that you want to mess around with. So I do think that it's a pretty good spot to be taking the points here. We're going to be riding with it. Suns +3 here versus the Pelicans at -110 odds. Now for our second and final play of the day, we're going to be taking Anthony Davis, the Brow, over 12.5 rebounds here versus Detroit at -105 odds. Now, I like this for a couple different reasons. If you guys haven't been watching the NBA at all, Detroit's really not a great rebounding team. They, in their last 7 games, they allow the 3rd most points or rebounds per game, to opposing centers. They give up a ton of rebounds just in general. They allow the second most rebounds per game to opposing teams in their last 3 games. So they not only give up a ton of rebounds in general, but a lot of those come from the center position. So I think it's a pretty good spot to target. And in Anthony Davis's last 12 games, he has hit the over in 9 of them. So he has a cover percentage right now of 75% in his last 12 games. Sign me up for that. I mean, that's definitely good. He should see his usual run of like 35-ish minutes. I know that he had that weird thing that happened in Cleveland where he ended up feeling sick. I don't really know, but he ended up feeling sick, and so he ended up sitting out of that game. And then last game he ended up having 36 minutes, but that was a game that went into overtime, so he has slowly started to build those minutes back up. I think we do see close to his 35-ish minutes, and the spread's only 4.5, so I don't worry about a blowout here whatsoever. I think it's pretty safe. But I do like this play a lot. Hopefully it ends up working out here for us. It's almost plus money or almost even money. So I think it's a pretty good spot to target while you still have the value. So that is going to be our second play of the day. Anthony Davis over 12.5 rebounds here versus Detroit at -105 odds. So now we are going to go ahead and dive into our consensus play, our special guest Sunday. So let's go ahead and roll that. And here we are with the consensus play of the day. We got my boy Ryan here, one of my really good friends here in real life. Diehard LeBron fan, and he was 7-0. Was 7-0 up until Boston ended up blowing it for us. So, we had to ruin the streak, but you know what? Bounce backs happen, and I think that this is going to be a pretty good one. So, we do have for our consensus play of the day, we do have the Kings. They are going to be traveling to New York to be playing the Knicks. The Knicks are currently 2.5-point favorites currently. Some of the big injury news that we do have as of right now, at least, we do have De'Aaron Fox is going to be listed as questionable for the Kings. Keegan Murray is also listed as questionable for the Kings. And on the flip side of things for the Knicks, the only significant injury right now is Obi Toppin's out. And Ryan Arcidiacono, of course, the GOAT. But so the Kings are 2.5-point dogs currently. And we do have 2 people that have submitted their consensus plays. I still haven't heard back from Mitch. Hopefully we can hear back from him here soon, but currently I'm going to record the video anyway, and if anything changes, I'll of course, put it on my Twitter and update it in the overlay. But as of right now, we do have Brady. Brady is going to be riding with the Kings today, and we do also have Seth. Seth is going to be riding with the Kings today as well. Currently for me, I'm going to be riding with the Knicks. I think that the Knicks actually have a pretty good chance here to cover. The reason being is just because if De'Aaron Fox is banged up, there's a good chance that we could see a lesser version of De'Aaron Fox. And, De'Aaron Fox is a really huge part to that team. And I know Jalen Brunson hasn't really been playing great, and RJ Barrett's kind of been struggling with some things. But Julius Randle's been a monster here recently. And it's going to be – and the Kings – despite them being a pretty decent team overall, both defenses have started to look in the right direction. So I think that this is a game where we do see the home team take a win here. They have had 3 straight wins, and they've been against pretty good teams with Atlanta, Cleveland, and Charlotte. So I think that they can go ahead and get it done here for us once again. So my pick is going to be for the Knicks. And Mintz, what are you running with?
Though I do think that it's going to be a good matchup, especially between Julius Randle, Domantas Sabonis. I think that's going to be a good little head-to-head. I am going to pick the Knicks. I do think the Knicks have been on a little streak lately, and I don't see any reason why that can't continue. I think even though Barrett and Jalen Brunson have been struggling, but I think Fox being, out or iffy, even when he is out there, I think it's just going to be maybe a little too much, and it's just going to be a massive workload for Sabonis, might wear him down. I don't know. I don't see a reason why the Knicks can't cover.
I
So,
agree. I agree. So currently we do have 2-2 as of right now, just because we haven't heard back from Mitch. At the end of the day, I am probably going to assume that he is going to be on the Kings. I'm going to try to get in touch with him, but just in case if not, I will go ahead and update it here. But for right now, it's split 2-2. We do have 2 cappers on the Knicks. We do have 2 cappers on the Kings. So hopefully we do hear back from Mitch. But for right now, just wanted to go ahead and hop on here with our special guest Ryan. And so let's go ahead and cash this. So that is going to do it for today's video. If you guys did enjoy, make sure you guys do like, comment, subscribe, turn on that notification bell so you guys know whenever I post. Like I said, we're on the road to 10,000 subscribers, so we're less than 700 subscribers away. If you guys are new, make sure that you guys are subbed. But that's going to do it for me. This is King Center signing out. Peace.